to explain what is constraint. Constraints are nothing but like conditions. These constraints are being applied means the conditions are being applied to a column in a table. So when you apply these conditions to a column, we are going to enter a valid data into that column. So some of the popular constraints which are there is shown on the screen here: not null, unique, primary key, foreign key, constraints. Okay, constraints are being means the conditions are being applied to tables in two ways. One is while creating the table, means adding at the time of creating a table, and after after creating the table also we can add constraints, means we can apply the constraints while creating the table, after creating the tables also. So while creating the table, you can apply the constraints put constraint name with constraint name. So we see a small example in this first video. So how it constraints are being created. So the first thing we are going to see the way of applying the constraints while you are creating a table with constraint name, without constraint name. So let us see now. So I'm going to create a table, create table name as S1. In this I'm going to take the student number, data type number 6 here. I'm going to apply a constraint primary key. I'm not going to do any name to this constraint, just I'm using the primary key constraint and a name at 2 of 20, and I'm going to use one constraint not null, and I'm going to use one more column gender. Okay, I'm going to use that data type as 1. I'm applying one constraint and check. I'm going to check what either male or female or male. So I'm going to gender, check gender means in the gender column you're being here in either m male or female. And the small names or small letters also it is a case sensitive now here. And next yeah, okay, this constraint is closed here, the bracket is closed for here, and another bracket is closed for total, so semicolon. So a table is being created with the only without constraint names. I have been applied the constraints, but for this constraint I didn't create given any name here. So now this table is being created without giving a name to the constraints. Now the same I'm going to create one more table, create, sorry, uh, create table. I'm going to create one more table S2, the same concept, but observe the differences that number I'm giving what 6 here, but I'm giving a condition name as constraint. Okay, I'm giving the name as S2 primary key, nothing but I'm going to give a name to a constraint that S2 means table name and PK is nothing but primary key. So primary key, this is one, and next name at 2 of 20. Okay, it's not null, no need of Same way here, and I'm going to give you and gender, uh, char, it is going to take one, means only one character. Now I'm giving constraint constraint name as thk, sorry, s2 s2 underscore chk, nothing but s2 table constraint. Okay, now check what I'm going to check here, gender, uh, in, I'm going to check capital M, next is left, comma, small m, you may give f, okay, one bracket close to another bracket and last bracket. So now what is the difference here is, when I'm applying a condition to a column primary key, I didn't given any name to this column to identify that what constraint I have been. So when you really, if in the real time, when you are going on creating some conditions to a different tables, what type of condition you have been applied to which table, it is very complicated. So in the database management system, all the constraints are being identified with a name. So here, when I'm creating this table, I didn't given any name to the constraint. So when you're not going to create any name to a constraint, so here the system itself will create one name to the constraint. So remember, see this one point, that a constraint is given without specifying a name to a constraint. Oracle by default assign a name to a constraint. It starts with a letter C here. This is the way it is going to talk. SYS. Suppose I didn't give it any constraint name. So the system itself automatically it creates SYS underscore C with some number. So like the some number will be created. It indicates nothing but this name is being created by system itself. Now when I observe this, next another S2 by PK. This is the actual, in the second table I given the name to a constraint. This is the constraint name created by system itself. This is the constraint name given by the user itself. So in the first table I have not created any constraint name to a table, but in the second table I have given a constraint names to a table. So now we insert one record and we'll see now what happened here. Insert into s1 table values. I'm giving some values 1 4 5 6, okay, 2, and I'm giving some name as Oracle. Now I'm giving as, sorry, I'm giving some name as Ramu, and I'm giving some gender as male. Okay, now the same record, I'm going on entering the same record here. I'm giving the name as something as Raju, but here I'm giving the same number. Here I applied a condition primary key. When I enter this record, see, it is going to show you a error with a constraint name SYS6008385. This is the name created for this primary key by the system itself. Now if the same records, if I enter in the s2 value, sorry, s2 table, so one record is already entered. Now if the same record, if I enter, uh, so it is going to, sorry, I'm going to enter the same record into s2. So when I'm going to enter the same record in the s2, it is going to show you with an constant name that what a user I created. So here this is the constant name created by the machine, this is the constant name created by the user itself. So this is the way we are going to create a constraint name to a table without constraint names and with constraint name. Thank you.